Wilcox County High School in Georgia has not had a racially integrated prom.
Unbelievable. Seriously, we're in the year 2030. We're not talking about 1969.
Wait, so they have two different proms?
They have two different proms. They have a white prom and then a so-called racially integrated prom, but mostly it's where, the black students have their prom.
Right, and the cool white kids go. Sounds like.
Maybe.
Right.
So they claim, now what's happening right now is there are 4 students that are fighting. They're trying to raise money to have a racially integrated prom, because what the high school does is they don't have their own prom. They have private parties provide for a prom, okay? So parents, maybe some members of the staff, who knows, they provide funding for, the white prom and then the other prom. And since they're privately funded, the school really doesn't have much say in terms of what happens, which I think is BS. If it's a prom that's tied to your students, you should not allow any type of segregation.
Yeah, of course. And so the other prom obviously is not really racially integrated because they're having to raise money for a whole different racially integrated prom.
Yes.
On the other hand, you'd have 3 proms. If you're a white guy, you could go to all 3 of them. That's kind of cool. I'm kidding. Okay, now seriously, getting beyond that, I literally have trouble believing this story.
Okay, so there's a local news report. I want to show that to you guys too, because it'll give you some more detail in how it works and what happened to one black student who had the audacity to show up to the white prom. Let's take a look.
In a world full of color, Wilcox County High School still see things as black and white.
There's a white prom, and then we have our integrated prom.
If any race other than Caucasian tries to attend the white prom,
they would probably have the police come out there and escort them off the premises. Yes.
That was the case just last year as a biracial student was turned away by police. It's been that way for as long as anyone can remember, and it doesn't stop at prom. Homecoming is also segregated.
I mean, the homecoming king and queen, they had one this year for the first time. They didn't have a black king and a black queen and a white and white. They had, I guess it was a black king. It was a white king and a black queen, and they weren't allowed to take pictures together for the yearbooks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So now when people say racism is gone, now look, have we made progress? Of course we have, because this would have described the entire South, 40, 50 years ago. But that goes to show you, it wasn't that long ago, because we still have remnants of it. In 2013, they're still doing this. The fact that the African Americans in that town have put up with it, is amazing. I mean, obviously not voluntarily. They're literally getting escorted out of the building by cop cars. But if ever there was a time to call in the NAACP, etc., this is it.
They
Unbelievable.
They literally keep the black kids from going to the white prom. I was thinking, just go to the white prom, end it this year. But you get the police come.
The police come and they escort you out.
On what charge?
And by the way, think about whether black people in that town are going to get a fair shake on other matters.
Exactly.
Let alone when it comes to the police. Those police that are escorting the black kids from the prom, you think they magically turn around and think, oh, no, I'm not going to pull that black guy over. He's probably innocent. Or do you think they make certain assumptions about guilt and innocence as they conduct their regular affairs?
Also,
the
school, it says here, one of the lines is, while the school has no official stance on the matter. Have an official stance on the matter.
Totally, that's what I was saying. You definitely do have an official stance. You have to have one. But another point that I wanted to make is the fact that, we talk about institutional racism and we talk about certain obstacles that black people have to go through just to become successful. And one thing that we unfortunately didn't get a chance to talk about earlier this week was a study that was done on networking and how a lot of times people who are CEOs or managers or owners of companies are typically white. And what do? They do favors for their white friends, and those are the people that usually get hired into their companies.
So Bill O'Reilly had a conversation with Robert Johnson, who was the head of BET, and I thought it was a really interesting. Robert Johnson sometimes is criticized for being conservative, but I thought his answers to Bill O'Reilly were terrific, and he said, and he mentioned just that point, and it's not even malicious. Now, if you're if you're a regular guy and you're a carpenter, who do you want to hire? When a job opens up, for a carpenter position, your son, your nephew,
Jesus,
that would help. Okay, although he kind of left that. I'm not sure he was a great carpenter.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But and so that's just the way it works. You're in a union, and so one of the reasons you needed affirmative action was to break through that natural barrier that wasn't even necessarily malicious. Okay, now this in Georgia
Is
malicious. Okay.
By the way, a lot of that hiring practice was malicious too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
right.
back in the day. But even now, I'm just saying that.
Right, your instinct, you're going to hire the people you know, the people you work with, your friends, yeah. And if you haven't been exposed to anybody else, it's just going to keep perpetuating the situation.
And it's amazing too, you know. And I'm not blaming the victim here. Don't get me wrong, but it's amazing how long people put up with stuff.
I know, that's the
Right?
most incredible part of the story. I mean, this has been going on for decades.
They're like a town frozen in time, in a sense.
Good
When
for
I
the-
first read this story, I mean, because April Fool's was earlier this week, when I first read it, I was like, this is an April Fool's joke story. There's no question about it. But no, it's real. This is the kind of stuff that's still happening in the country, stuff that people like ignore, neglect, and then just pretend like we don't have any problems with racism.